Hi, Kat Chancellor here with Stamp Art Connection and StampArtConnection.com. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I have gone from all those floral tutorials I've been making to I've gone out to the stars, reach for the stars. This is a really nice bundle that I created. This bridge fold card, it folds flat, but it pops up and has a nice little presentation that you can, and I really kind of like this because I wanted the sense of depth for the planets, because this is a kind of a space planetary thing. And then you can flip it around and you've got room on the back, and here I kind of decorated the back and kind of stamped a little placard back here using the designer series paper from the bundle. And then I put, this is a little wobble that I have put on top of, on the card for the spaceman. And if you look, I've connected this piece of twine to the shuttle there, so it looks like he's actually doing a little spacewalk. So that is the card we're going to put together. Now, what you're going to need for this, of course, is the Reach for the Stars bundle. And it will give you the outlines for the shuttle and for the astronaut, as well as all the different sizes for planets and the planetary rings that go with those planets, as well as these little stamps here. It took me a little bit of time to figure these out, but these are actual little dies that create this moon, this kind of moon look. Let me see if I can, you can kind of see that kind of how it creates kind of a moon surface, a lunar surface look. That's what these dies here create. So you could cut out a planet from the large, and then you could use this across your planet to kind of create a really neat kind of planetary surface with any cardstock of your choice. And then there's these little stars right here, and that's what I cut out here using, I've got one here, 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 and then here. And then this, I think, and I use this as kind of like the engine fire, and I cut that out of holographic paper for our space shuttle. And I just think it is just really a cool card. You will need the bundle. These cut out the rings, and you can see this ring right here cut out of the holographic paper. You're also going to need the designer series paper that comes with this set, and this is the Stargazing, and it's just some wonderful colors and textures. Now what I did here is, you see all these planets and moons and Saturns. Well, what I sat down and I did some fussy cutting to kind of prepare in advance. So I have all my planets cut out. I took several sheets of cardstock and I just cut them out, and I also have some little rings that I've cut out as well. So you can basically take this planet, and then we're going to put a ring over it like that and turn it into Saturn. And it's got, you know, just lots of colors and choices. Now these colors are very bright, and so they are your berry burst, blackberry bliss, blueberry bushel, crushed curry, flirty flamingo, lemon lime twist, orchid oasis, pumpkin pie, starry night, and Tahitian tide. I'm going to use the planets and the rings for this card, and I've already fussy cut those. The planets from the DSP will fit with the dies from this set. And of course you're going to need the holographic trio paper, and it's got some really, it's got this, and then it's got this. I mean, look at that. That is just wild. As well as think I have this piece here, and there's a piece. So these pieces here are this is the trio, kind of like this plain holographic, and then this really kind of modeled holographic, and then this blue holographic paper. That's the holographic trio, and you're going to need some of that. For the card itself, you're going to need a base card, and this is going to measure a 7 by 7, and we're going to score this, and you're going to need a bridge that should be, I believe it's a 5 by 1 inch. There's my 1 inch. By 5. And I'm going to save some of this because I may use some embossing powder. I use some silver embossing powder to emboss our greeting there. So you're going to need these two pieces. We're going to need lots of mats and layers, and we'll get into that later. But I'm also going to need, and I pulled this in, this is some Simply Elegant trim, and I'm going to use this silver right here for kind of our moonwalk cord. And then I have wobble springs. We're going to use one of these wobble springs so that our astronaut kind of wobbles around. And of course, we're going to need glue and some dimensionals. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. I really love these black and white images, and the images for this stamp set really lend itself to using your scan and cut machine. And here I just stamped a bunch of the astronauts and the space shuttles using my Stamparatus, and I'm just going to go ahead and pull these off and color them for my cards. Now I'm going to make a lot of these cards because I donate a lot of my cards, especially if they're children's cards, to the University of New Mexico Children's Hospital here in Albuquerque. So I just like to go ahead and just have lots of pieces and parts to work with. So I'm going to pull in some of the colors. Now I went over the colors that are featured on the DSP, but I have some personal markers. These are alcohol ink markers, and I just liked them because they had some nice fluorescent colors, and I wanted to add just a little bit more color to my astronauts. And I'm just using some very bright blue, yellow, some pinks, and some very bright greens, and they pretty much line up with the colors that you'll find on the DSP. Now for my other astronaut, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull in some metallic watercolors that I have in my stamps room, and I'm going to, I'm just using a blending brush to kind of blend the colors I applied on that one, and I'm just using some gray to kind of outline the little power pack that he has in the front. And then using these metallic colors, I'm going with the white pearl metallic. I'm going to add that to his spacesuit, and I'm going to add the fluorescent markers to his little patches and pockets on his spacesuit, and this kind of to his gloves and to his shoes, so they kind of pop. But after that, I'm going to go ahead and just add some some of this wonderful metallic color. It's kind of a nice pearl. I think it's going to make that spacesuit kind of glisten a little bit and stand out. So that's kind of the other color option that we have. That was some black metallic that I was adding there. So there are those two right there. Now I'm going to bring in the space shuttles, and for the space shuttles I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to go ahead and add the white metallic along the tops, the wings, and right there along what they call the fuselage right there, and that will kind of give it a nice glistening look. Now I'm using that top color as a champagne metallic color, and I'm kind of using that along the edge where I can just kind of add a little bit of shadow, a little bit of depth to the image, and then I'm following up with the white metallic color as well. Now I'm going to pull in using Versamark and clear embossing powder, and I'm going to use one of the Versamark pens. It has kind of a brush side to it, and I'm just adding the Versamark to the boots, and especially to that helmet face there, that big glass piece. And what this is going to do, it's going to make that helmet kind of stand out and look like it is glass, and it's going to make some pieces on his power pack, his gloves and his shoes, it's going to make those kind of stand out as well. And just using my pair of tweezers, and you can see we're just going to look how nice that is going to just make that astronaut just pop. And I think it really makes a difference. I'm also going to do that for the space shuttle, just to kind of look at that, look at the difference, kind of give it just a little bit extra pizzazz. Taking my 7x7 piece, I'm going to bring in my scoreboard, and of course this is always I have to give credit to the idea to Sam Calcutt of Mixed Up Craft. She always has such wonderful ideas. We're going to go on one side, we're going to go 1 and 6. Then we're just going to flip it over, and we're going to go 2 and 5. Now here's the brilliance of this, is that when you bend this way, and you can see this is where it indented, right? When you bend it this way, you eliminate any cracks in your cardstock. I didn't know that. So thanks to Sam Calcutt of Mixed Up Craft for kind of explaining that. But we're going to go ahead, and so you're going to always fold towards the indented side. Okay, so there is our card base, and this is the bridge that we're going to put over. We're going to put over the card, and then it's going to fold flat like that. Okay, so let's talk about mats and layers. Okay, I'm going to grab some of this cardstock here. I've got some of it left over from my other project. And I'm going to need some pieces that are be at least 7 inches long. So as an option, you can always go and just grab any foil that you may have. I'm just going to go ahead and grab this, and we're just going to cut this. Instead of at 6, we're going to cut this at 7. Well, rather, we're going to need it cut at 6 7/8. So we got 6 7/8, which is right about there. And we're going to cut that. You're going to need a layer for the bridge, and we're going to cut that 5, and I think I have, yeah, this is a 5. So we can do this bridge, and I'm going to do it by 5 and this is going to be 7/8. So we're going to just do that right there. Okay, so that's going to go there, and that's going to be 4 7/8. All right, so that's that layer. That's going to be our bridge. I think this is our 7 piece right here. Okay, so we're going to need 4 7/8 by 6 7/8. So now I have to cut 4 at 7/8. All right, so I have 4 at 6 7/8. Now I'm going to need some layered pieces. So this one should have gone 7. This one should have gone 2 7/8. Okay, because this one's going to go in there, and then this one needs to go, yep, right there. Okay, and then this is going to go, instead of 2 7/8, we're going to do this 2 3/4. Okay, so now that fits nicely right there, and now I have to cut. These are my layers are going to be 6 3/4 by 3/4. So all of these should line up like that, and I've got that. Now for the back, which is this side, we're going to need another piece, and this should be 7, and then we're going to do this one, the back, so it's going to be 2 7/8. 2 7/8. Okay, and that's going to go right here, 2 3/4 by 6 3/4. Okay, so that is going to go on that one right there. and then this is going to go right here like that. So now I'm going to pull in the pieces that I want for assembling my card. I'm going to pull in my planets, choosing the colors, shapes, and sizes that I want to go. And I'm using some Wink Stella here just to kind of add a little bit of glimmer to my planet, my Saturn. I'm going to also add another layer of basic white cardstock to the back of both my figures, the astronaut and my space shuttle. I'm using my 3-in-1 glue, and what that does, it just adds some stiffness to the back of those figures, and you'll especially need that for the astronaut, because when he's on the wobble, he'll wobble a lot better when he has just a little bit more weight. I'm bringing in the silver trim, but before I adhere that, I'm going to adhere my wobble. These are the smaller wobbles. The adhesive isn't as good, so I would recommend using some additional, either some hot glue or some additional glue. I just added a piece of Scotch tape to the back. I've knotted the end so that the twine doesn't come through the tape. I'm adding just a little snip to the astronaut's glove, so it looks like he's holding the twine in his hand, and I'm going to secure that with just a little bit of hot glue right there, so he looks like he's got that in his hand. I'm going to trim the edge, and again I'm going to tie a knot so that it doesn't slip through, and I'm going to adhere that with some hot glue. There, it's the hot glue on the back of the astronaut's hand, and then I'm going to do the same for the space shuttle, and then I'm going to pop the space shuttle up on some dimensionals, and it's going to go placed in on my card. I wasn't really happy with the way the silver emboss lettering came out, so I went ahead and did a couple more with Memento ink, and then I used one of my pens and added some Versamark so that I could use the clear embossing powder just to kind of make those letters kind of glimmer. To adhere the bridge, just go ahead and add your glue to both ends, and then you just basically line it up to the edge and fold it over, and it will align perfectly. Hey, if you haven't already done so, check out the new crafting tips from your annual catalog for the Take Your Pick tool. There's some really neat little tips there, like the one I'm showing you here, this little hook that really makes taking apart some of these more fiddly little pieces a lot easier. So there you go, with just a little fancy folds and using all the products from the Stargazing Suite collection from the annual catalog. That includes the Reach for the Stars bundle and the Stargazing DSP and holographic trio paper. We created this lovely bridge card that folds flat and will fit in a 5x7 envelope. I love the little wobbles. It just adds just some extra excitement to our card. If you haven't already, please hit like. All products are available on my online store. There'll be a link below, as well as a link for all the products featured here. Go to my blog at stampartconnection.com for all the project details. If you're looking for a demo, please consider joining my team. Consider joining as a hobbyist for $99 and enjoy a 20% discount. If you are a demo and like my content, please support my ability to share all my projects with you by hitting the like, share, and leave a comment, so I can continue to provide you content. This is Kat Chancellor with Stamp Art Connection and StampArtConnection.com. Happy stamping!